Drawing is a big part of painting, and it can feel intimidating, but it doesn't have to. We need to try to let go of some of our idea of perfection when it comes to drawing. Remember, you're not creating a flawless representation of what is there in real life. You're not creating a blueprint or some type of important document that has to be done in a very exact way. We simply need an outline and a guideline for our painting process. Let me jump into some important tips for you. Number one, keep your hand on the paper while you're drawing. And there's a very important reason for this. As I am drawing and rendering something, the temptation is to draw a little part here, move over to another area and draw another part, move over to another area and draw over there. But we need to see our drawing as one whole connected piece. And this actually helps you to become more accurate. As you draw one shape, you are able to better understand its relationship to another shape in your scene if you keep your hand on the paper. The next thing that you want to focus on is drawing shapes, not things. You want to start to look at things as shapes. And when you can do this, you take away the preconceived notion of how you think that shape should be. If you say that you're painting a car or a person or a building, you start to render it how you think that building should look rather than how it actually does look. That will help you be even more accurate. You don't want to draw too light in some areas, and you don't want to draw too dark in other areas. You don't typically need to draw a lot of hard lines up in the sky. So say for instance you're painting a beautiful formation of clouds. You could do some very light pencil lines to give you the feel and the layout of those clouds. You don't want to do hard pencil lines because those will always stick out through really thin washes. Now there are areas of the painting where you might need to draw a little bit darker. Draw darker in areas where you need to have a little more precision, a little more detail. And if you draw it too light and cover it up with your first wash and you aren't able to see it, then you will lose track of your drawing and your painting will not be very accurate. Now with these tips in mind, I want to show you my process of drawing a scene and getting it ready to paint. So the first thing that we want to do when we are drawing a scene is we want to establish where the horizon line is. So if you are able to look down on top of something, that means that object is below the horizon line. So the boat in the scene is below our horizon line. So let's go ahead and draw our horizon line straight across the paper. I just do a couple lines back and forth. And you want to draw from object to object. If you draw the boat here and go over and start on the dock over here, you're going to have a lot of disconnected objects that aren't necessarily in the right scale or have the right relationship to each other. So you want to draw from object to object, loosely keeping your pencil on the paper. And then we come to the little walkway. And you can see where the walkway meets that boat. You can take your pencil, you can hold it up to the photo and try to get that right angle of the walkway. Okay, now I can look at where the top of this boat is, and I can come up to the edge of the land that's in the background there. And I'm going to trace that over. I'm kind of looking at the angle. I know that the river is kind of coming around the bend there. So it's not a straight line all the way across. It's kind of an angled line. Okay, and then above that, I can see where the tree line is. Now, I don't need to get caught up in every little tree and complex bit of that shape. Okay, so a big part of this painting is the reflection and the shadows in the water. I can lightly draw in some of that, and those have their own perspective. You can take your pencil, you can line it up and see what direction those are going in, and they kind of sweep in this way. So those shadows on the water will lead us into the scene this way. And they actually are across the flat surface of the walkway. Okay, now that I have some things in place, I can go in with, I have a little kneaded eraser, and I can take out some of the horizon line here, some of those lines when I was trying to figure out the right angle. I needed to flatten that out just a little bit more. So after I've loosely drawn this in, I can go back through and I can outline the areas that need to be reinforced, that need to be a little bit darker. See, I'm not taking a lot of time to render out each of these branches. Just a little gesture will help you understand where the trees are going to go up here. I think I have enough structure on the boat. I have a good feel for the pattern of light and dark.
There's some rocks in the bottom corner of this. Okay, I don't want too much attention in the background, but I do see an area of trees that are darker and an area that's a little more light green. So I'm going to do just a few little reference lines to help me remember that. The painting seems a little bit out of balance, so I'm going to add a little vertical, like right here. Something to keep the viewer's eye in the painting over here, so it's not just so open. I've laid out the basic structure of the painting. We just need to pay attention to a few important things in order to have enough information to make a really good, solid painting.
Have you ever been really excited about a painting and you get all set up, you find that right reference that you're excited about, and then it's time to go and you feel lost? You ever had that experience? You just are having a hard time finding consistency. Some of your paintings turn out, some of your paintings don't turn out, and you're not really sure why. Well, I have a free resource that I want to give to you today that can help exactly with these problems. My 5 steps to plan a successful watercolor painting. I walk you through the crucial planning phase of your painting that will help you understand what you're going to paint first, second, and third. The planning is really so important, especially in watercolor. This medium is harder to correct. It's so immediate. So having that plan is very important. I send you a PDF that you can download. And the great thing about this is you can have it on your phone, you could print it out, and you can take a look at these crucial planning steps before you start each painting to ensure that you're thinking through these important things as you get started. You can download this right now before you start your next painting. All you have to do is follow this link here and download my 5-step guide to planning a successful watercolor painting.